Welcome to this Terminal Triathlon conversation that I'm going to have with my good friend Calum Stronner. And we are less than 12 hours out before our Ironman starts. What time is it now?
I don't know. I'm gonna watch.
So yeah, it's 7:30 and we'll be getting up at 3:30 in the morning and heading to the start line for a 6:10 start. And so I just wanted to share this. For number one, just to thank everybody that has supported and sponsored and given us some social love for the Terminal Triathlon project I'm running. And for those that don't know me, I'm Mark. And 6 years ago, I was considered terminal with just 6 months to live. And the last episode of my podcast I did with Calum, was it before we completed the rock, or was it after? Before the rock. And we were talking about how endurance events has helped us in our own personal journeys of growth, journeys of healing. So what are the things coming up for you now, Calum, in the trepidation before the big event?
Just generally in terms of the prep.
Yeah.
I'm first of all, I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
I'm proud that I'm here
Mm-hmm.
and kind of committed. And I suppose, like we discussed last time on your podcast, there is so much that this whole process of engaging in endurance sports can kind of bring up in terms of the level of commitment and everything that it requires, and the kind of just the development of new skills. And there's a lot that it showcases just in our own kind of patterns of the way in which we engage in our training, but also these are patterns that also apply to other parts of our lives.
Yeah.
And so it's just a big part of it's just, I suppose I'm just in a place where
Open and ready.
Yeah.
I think something that's come up a few times for me today is about my ability to ask for help, which is a massive thing it's a massive part of how to build community, how to build strong relationships, of sort of some of the resilience training I do. One of them is asking for help and building that community and knowing who your support network are. And something I've realized in me and through being with you and, just the epic journey to get us all here into this amazing place, is my ability to lean on other people, because it's not like I couldn't have just winged this like I could do a sprint distance. I've had to rely on the support, the love, the care of other people. And for me, it's kind of opening a door that wasn't very open because I just wanted to do everything my own.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a massive one for me in terms of what I'm taking into this. And this morning I just had this wave of emotion. It's almost like a wave of gratitude that door is opened, for not just me getting here to this event, but everybody that has helped me get to this place. Yeah. My teachers, my mentors, my family. And what does this stand for? Like, going from terminally ill to triathlon is like we get to write the script or our own story. And part of my journey and part of my reason for doing this is that I see so many people stuck in their own stories. And I know that if we could just change the patterns, change the thinking, and only by seeing inspirational stories or reading or doing some work do you actually start to open these doors and actually start to develop and grow into new spaces, into new places. And had I not put my stretch goal so big, whilst navigating through continued healing, having bone marrow treatments or tests, and then having to decide, do I do it? Do I not? Am I putting myself under pressure? But then, moving on, knowing that this is part of my journey. And this morning I was in floods of tears on the beach, waiting for this event to happen.
Can I interject? Because one of the things that people who follow your story may know or may not know, but the idea of this was essentially born in your hospital room, where for whatever reason that I still find quite strange, and part of the reason why I ask is that it's something that you, whilst being ill, you wrote on your kind of vision board, being an Ironman, at a time where you're probably at your most furthest point of this being an Ironman.
Yeah.
And what do you make of it? What do you make of that now that you're actually here? And why was that then such a thing back 6 years ago?
Well, I think I was stuck in a routine, in a pattern, in an industry, in a sector that I didn't really want to be in. There was a lot of pressure that I put on myself, you know, and I was, Louise Hay's book says, you know, the root cause, or the emotional root cause, contributing factor to leukemia, blood cancer, is brutally killing inspiration. So I wasn't living my truth. And so when I was in the hospital room, it was almost like I had a reset button. You know, when I was told I had leukemia a few months before the stem cell transplant, it was almost like a blessing. Like, you know, yes, I was on morphine. I didn't go into fight or flight. I didn't trigger into, oh shit, what's going to happen? I just kind of knew that this was a passage. Like if you go back 3 years before, when I was watching my mum, I kind of knew that there was an interest, you know, when I knew that she'd got cancer. Never had crossed paths with anybody who'd had cancer in the past. And then my mum died within 15 days. And it was almost like I knew there was other stuff I could have done to help her had I been a bit deeper into the journey. Do you know what I mean? But you know, it doesn't matter, like the clean water and everything else when she was in hospital with just a few days to live. And yeah, it's strange how you might manifest these things that come up. Mm-hmm. God, if that was me, then maybe I would do this or I would change that. And then the freaking universe slapped me in the ass and said, here you go, son. Yeah. And then I was on my journey to finding what else is out there and not stuck in my old patterns, my old way of being. It was an opportunity to completely reset, reform, and renew. That was the workshop we did a few months ago. Reset, refocus, renew. So with some of the self-development work, it was just a mind map. Like, what do I want my life to look at? What are the big goals? It's almost like the bucket list, isn't it? Mm. And what have I always wanted to do, but I've never been able to realize or manifest because everything else just got in the way. Mm. And so this event tomorrow is like massive because it's been on my radar, in my subconscious, in my part of my DNA since I was 12, 13 when I won the school triathlon. So yeah, it's about finding my truth, and that's what this event is, and living that and creating that, because life is a creation, isn't it? Whereas it's easy to get washed along by the river of life and by the river of everybody else's expectations that I did to myself. I'm not blaming anybody for that. It was just what I've had to do. And therefore I can help others in the process and help them find their truth and their path back to either health or achieving impossible goals, being a coach, being an educator, inspiring people. And yeah, that's what I want the next block of life to be about.
What does becoming an Ironman do to the Terminal Triathlon project?
The project was meant to be 50 podcasts, and a book, Terminal Triathlon, which will come after this event, because I feel so much more confident, as in my own self-belief, because I always found it difficult to write, to convey my message, convey my truth. But with this, I feel the last couple of months, I felt so much more in alignment with who I am. Mm-hmm. And so therefore, where am I up to with it? Originally, it was to help me get back to America. But then that was because I thought I might not be getting well. But that's, maybe I don't need to go to America is like the message that I'm receiving. So then what's the bigger project within Terminal to Triathlon? What's the bigger message? How can we awaken more of humanity? How can we create bigger shifts with what Terminal to Triathlon stands for? So I said to my coaching community that I wasn't going to push for anything. What I do know, there's a half marathon that I want to beat the pre-cancer mark in November. So that's going to happen, Conway Half. And I will be doubling down on the book. And I've now got 14 podcasts, which will be produced because I won't be sitting on a bike for 10 hours a week training. So the Terminal Triathlon project will continue, and I will continue to support other people, other cancer patients, and building it as a vehicle for change. Yeah.
That's exciting. And I think that it's also something that it's the pinnacle of the triathlon part of the Terminal to Triathlon.
I think that was the biggest part for me, like this is a massive tick in a box. Like what other adventures? We were just sitting in the kitchen, like Mark, your journey. I was like, I'd rather call it an adventure. Like what's the next adventure after this? I mean, the half marathon after this should be relatively straightforward. So what's the next big project in terms of physical endeavor, physical endurance? We will wait and see. So watch and keep your eyes peeled with what's on the horizon.
It's exciting. It's really exciting.
So yeah, we'll record again on Monday if we're in a conscious and well state. And I just wanted to share this in the hope that it touches somebody's life, and if it just changes one person's life, then I'm truly stoked with the mission behind what we're doing. So thanks, buddy, for all your help.
Thank you.
And being my wingman and encouraging us to come to Ireland, which turns out to be an absolutely amazing decision.
Yeah, it's the best.
Thank you, man. Okay. Over and out. Have a great Sunday, and you can watch us using. I'll put the links in below the videos. So if you wanted to watch and track myself and Calum, you'll have our live numbers, and you can see us on the app to see where we're going to start and finish. So we'll be off at 6:30. My time band is between 13 and 15 hours. We've only got 17 to complete it. So somewhere between 6:30 and 10 o'clock tomorrow night, we'll be crossing that finish line. Over and out.